Alright, good morning everybody. Welcome in to Nessa's Time Domain. Nessa's Timed. And today we're gonna read the last few chapters of Genesis. So that's why we're here this morning. We're gonna finish out Genesis, and also this is Sunday, so this is a God's day. So but let me pull this out. Alright. I'm trying to figure out where we're at. Actually no, correction. We will be finishing Genesis tomorrow in the last chapter, so that'll be uploaded tomorrow during the day. I'll be doing that tomorrow morning during one of my streams, so I'm gonna have to actually start considering there being a day where I can write. I need to figure out what day I can actually take an extra day off, because I'm tired. I've been waking up early consistently, and I can do it. It's just that I'm feeling tired because I'm feeling a little bit overworked right now with my job, and then me doing all this outside of work. I'm feeling like I have I'm feeling like I'm consistently working now. So um but I'm hoping I can find a day to take down a notch and actually end up taking it easy an extra day. So but all right, let's get into let me double check and make sure we're on chapter 48 before I actually go further. No, no, okay, we're on 49 of 50. Okay, so I'm correction, we're finishing it out. All right. All right. Jacob blesses his son. Then Jacob called for his sons and said, "Gather around so I can tell you what will happen to you in the days to come." So hold on, let me fix this. All right. Assemble and listen to sons of Jacob. Listen to your father Israel. Reuben, you are my firstborn, my might, the first sign of my strength. Excellent, excelling in honor of, excelling in honor, excelling in power. Turbulent as the water, you will no longer excel. For you went up onto your father's beds, onto my couch, and defiled it. Simon and Levi are brothers. Their swords are weapons of violence. Let me not enter their council. Let them not join their assembly. For they have killed men in their anger, and hamstrung oxen in it as they pleased. Cursed by their anger so fierce, and their fury so cruel, I will scatter them in Jacob, and despair them in Israel. Judah, your brother will praise you. Your hand will be on your neck, be the neck of your enemies. Your father's sons will bow down to you. You are a lion's cub, Judah. You return from the prayer, my son, like a loneliness who dare to rouse a lioness who dare to rouse him. The scepter will not depart from Judah, nor the ruler staff from between his feet, until he until he to whom it belongs shall come, and the obedience of the nations shall be his. He will tether his donkey to a vine, his colt to the choicest branch. He will wash his garments in wine, his robe in blood of grapes. His eyes will be darker than wine, his teeth whiter than milk. So I'm guessing his father is now like getting a sense. I'm not sure what his father I'm not sure what Jacob is doing here, but oh, he's predicting their future. Zebulun will live by the seashore and become a heaven for ships, a haven for ships. His border will extend towards Sidon. Issachar is a raw-boned donkey lying down among the sheep's pen. When he sees how good his resting place and how pleasant his land, he will bend his shoulder to the burden and submit to the forced labor. Dan will provide justice for his people, also one of his tribes of Israel. Dan will be shaken by the roadside, a vapor along the path that bites the horse's heel, so that its rider tumbles backwards. I look for your deliverance, Lord. Gad will be attacked by a band of raiders, but he will attack them at their heels. Asher's food will be rich. He will provide delicacies fit for a king. Naphtali is a doe set free that bears beautiful fawns. Joseph is a fruitful vine near a spring, whose branches climb over a wall. With bitterness archers attacked him. They shot at him hostilely, but his bow remained steady. His strong arms stayed limber because of the hand of the mighty one, Jacob. Because of Shepherd, the rock of Israel, because of your father's God, who helps you, because of the Almighty who blesses you, with blessings of skies above, blessings of deep springs below, blessings of breast and womb. Your father's blessings are greater than the blessings of ancient mountains. Then the bounty of the age-old hills. Let all the rest of the head of Joseph on the brow of the prince among his brothers. Benjamin is a ravenous wolf. In the morning he devours the prey. In the evening he divides the plunder. All these are 12 tribes of Israel, and that is what Father said to them when he blessed them, giving each the blessing appropriate for to him. So, that's how the 12 tribes of Israel were created. Um, it's it's basically Jacob was letting them all know that they're gonna separate and how things are gonna end up for them when they create their very own tribes. So, all right, the death of Jacob. Then he gave them instructions. I am about to be buried, about to be gathered. I am okay. I am about to be gathered to my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave in the field of Ephron the Hittite, the cave in the field of Machpelah near Mamre in Canaan, which Abraham brought along with the field as a burial place of from Ephron the Hittites. There Abraham and his wife Sarah were buried. There Isaac and his wife Rebekah were buried. And there I buried Leah. The field and the cave in it were brought from the Hittites. From when Jacob had finished giving instructions to his sons, he drew his feet up into the bed, breath his last, and gathered to his people. So Jacob finally passed on, and that's how the ending of Jacob goes. That was actually the whole story about Jacob and his family line. If you haven't been paying attention, Jacob was the one. So it went from Noah into Jacob. That's why we heard the story of Noah at first, and that's why we were at the point where they were still talking about Jacob, but Jacob's story led into Joseph's story also, because Joseph's story was a very important story within Jacob's story. So, chapter 50. So, it's the same name as the last one. We're just continuing on. Joseph threw himself on his father and wept over him and kissed him. Then Joseph directed his physicians in his service to embalm his father, Israel. So the physician embalmed him, taking a full 40 days for that was the time required for embalming, sorry. I've been saying but that's embalming. And the Egyptians mourned for him 70 days. When the days of mourning has passed, Joseph said to Pharaoh's court, I have found favor in your eyes, speaking to Pharaoh. For me, tell him, my father made me swear an oath and said, I am about to die, bury me in the tomb I dug for myself in the land of Canaan. Now, let me go up and bury my father, then I will return. So, Joseph just asked a favor for Pharaoh because he basically he helps Pharaoh a lot. That's why Joseph, anytime he needs to do something, you'll notice he'll ask the Pharaoh for it if he can do it before he does it, because he's in the respects of the Pharaoh. He's in the presence of the Pharaoh, and the Pharaoh's like still in charge, even though Joseph is in like a high power too. So he's like, so we look at it this way: Pharaoh would be Pharaoh would be the governor of Egypt, okay? And then we turn around and we have Joseph. Joseph would be under Pharaoh. Just like you see a president and it's like, how do I want to put that? You'll see the president and then you'll see the person behind him alongside of it. It's sort of like how I don't want to say a sidekick because that's not technically what it is, but that would be what it could be considered at the same time. So I think y'all know what I'm talking about out there, where we have the president, the vice president. So Joseph would be the vice president to the Pharaoh, if that makes sense. Pharaoh said, "Go up and bury your father. He has made you swear to do." So Joseph went up to bury his father. All Pharaoh's officials accompanied him. The dignitaries of the court and all the dignitaries of Egypt, besides all the members of Joseph's household and his brothers and those belonging to his father's household, only their children and their flocks heard they were in Goshen. Chariots and horsemen also went up with him. It was a very large company. Then when they reached the threshing floor of Atad near Jordan, they lamented loudly and bitterly. And there Joseph observed 7 days prior of mourning for his father. Then the Canaanites who lived there saw the mourning at the threshing floor of Atad. Then they said, "The Egyptians are holding a ceremony, holding a Solomon ceremony mourning. That is why the place near the Jordan is called Abel Mezmar." So Jacob's son did as he had commanded them. They carried him to the land of Canaan and buried him in a cave in the field of Machpelah and near Mamre, which Abram had brought along with the field as a burial place from Ephron to the Hittite. After burying his father, Joseph returned to Egypt together with his brothers and all the others who had gone to bury his father. So they finally did that, and now we're going on to the end part where after. So because Jacob was the more important part of it, so now that Jacob was passed and all that, we're getting ready to see the ending of Joseph's storyline as well, because we're at the point now where the most important parts of that family line are like completely finished, and you're about to see that here in the next part. So because it's two short sections basically explaining what happened to Joseph after his father passed. So Joseph reassures his brother. When Joseph's brother saw that their father was dead, they said, "What if Joseph holds a grudge against us and pays us back for all the wrongs we did to him?" So they sent word to Joseph saying, "Your father left these instructions before he died. This is what you are to say to Joseph. I ask you to forgive your brothers the sins and wrongs they committed in treating you so badly. Now, please forgive the sins of the servants of the God of your father." When their message came to him, Joseph wept. His brother then came and threw themselves down before him. "We are your slaves," they said. But Joseph said to them, "Don't be afraid. Am I in the place of God? you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good as good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. So then, don't be afraid. I will provide for you and your children, and reassure and he reassured them and spoke kindly to them. So he basically said, I'm not gonna do anything to you guys because I have you know I was asked Father wanted me to forgive you guys, and I'm not here to do harm or cause any problems for you guys. So alright. And this is the ending story of it, and then we'll be in Exodus. The death of Joseph. Joseph stayed in Egypt along with along with all his family. And he lived 110 years, and saw the third generation of Ephraim's children. Also the children of Merrick, the son of Manasseh, were placed at birth on Joseph's knees. Then Joseph said to his brothers, I am about to die, but God will surely come to your aid and take you up out of this land, to the land he promised on an oath to Abram, Isaac, and Jacob. And Joseph made the Israelites swear an oath and said, God will surely come to your aid, and then you must carry my bones up from this place. So Joseph died at the age of 110, and after they embalmed him, he was placed in a coffin in Egypt. So, all right. So we're now in the book of Exodus. That is one of the greatest stories in the Bible, in my opinion, because that really shows you how any human being can go from being like treated poorly to being treated so poorly that they get blessed. And that's the message behind it. Don't handle things in a manner where it's bad, okay? Handle things in a manner that it's gonna be best, that you end up blessed later on, and you end up like, as you praise God, you're gonna see that like you'll be blessed, but like in the middle of bad moments, okay? That's what you want to do. You don't want to, yeah, you want to sit there and stand your ground, of course, because we as Christians, we're not weak. We'll sit there, you know. I've had to hold my tongue just because people on social media suck, and they'll say anything. They'll say the most ridiculous, outlandish stuff to try to get you wound up. Like right in here in my chat box still from yesterday, um you see people saying the most weirdest stuff, and those are the people that, you know, I kind of pity them. Well, not pity them, but the stuff they say is like, what are you saying, And then this last person, they're like, I'll question you on God, and I'll make you look like a retard. And I'm like, I don't know why people are going around saying this stuff, especially because I'm not the one out there being mean to you. So what is going on, But my thing is like I let people say these things because they just they don't get it. They never. I mean, if they do, and this is their way of joking, this is an awful way of joking, and people are so outlandishly rude. It's not even funny. Like there are people that literally have gotten mad at me the past like week, um, trying to do stuff to try to like put me in a bad way. And it's like really, really impossible, but at the same time, what I need to say is usually what I need to say. And boy, some people, they love to argue with you. They'll sit there and argue with you. And you know how I normally win my arguments? By explaining to me by either I've been good at winning my arguments because I'll be like, stating they need to read the Bible or something like that. And if they'll ask me a question about the Bible, I'm like, look, I'm not God. Maybe you should go read the Bible. And that's my way of saying, hey, you know what? I'm not going to sit here and answer that for you because you can go learn it yourself. Yeah, there's too many people out there relying on other people for knowledge and relying on people who actually read the Bible to to be able to speak about the Bible. And that's the weirdest part about it is like I'm learning that people who have this like high IQ are normally the people that don't read the Bible. Or people claiming they have a high IQ are normally the people that don't read the Bible. You know, people make fun of me all the time for like, you know, try to make me feel stupid all the time. But if I really am stupid, I'm the one here reading the Bible, okay? Maybe you should consider picking up a Bible and try reading it and understanding it yourself instead of calling me stupid. You know, I do. I get name called. I get so many things recently because I read a Bible, so I learn a lot from it. And boy, some of those people that are in those other religions and all that, they always want to be the first one to argue with you. And I don't understand why. Like yesterday, I had a guy who was literally trying to sit there and he was trying every attempt to like try to convert me over from Christianity to his Muslim belief. And he was trying to find every way in the book and I kept preventing it because it's the way he was handling it. Okay, so here's some ways to find out if somebody is going to try to convert you or like if, or well, they're pretty much just these are signs of people trying to convert you, okay? First of all, they'll ask you a question about the Bible, even though they have no interest whatsoever about the Bible. All right, that's the first one. Ask them if they, ask them if they've ever learned the Bible, and if they say no, and they want to talk to you about something from the Bible, that's a sign that they're trying to convert you to their belief structure, so you fall away from Christianity. Okay. Second, they'll sit there and they'll sit there and they'll like try to make you think try to make you be they'll try to get you to feel like they don't understand. So that was the other thing that he was doing. He's like, I don't understand, blah blah blah. So why did you know if you wanted to listen to the Bible, just sit there and listen, and then look it up yourself or pick up a Bible. Second, telling them that if they want to read the Bible or trying to get them to read the Bible while they're arguing with you. All right, that's a big sign of them trying to convert you, okay? The moment they openly state, I don't read the Bible and all that. That's usually another sign of like they're trying to convert you over, okay? There's a couple of things that you can pick up on that will make you realize that they will try to convert you. A lot of people do it to me. I've had a lot of people bring up another name for God, which is in their belief and isn't connected to Christianity. Like, it's just weird how many people will replace God with a name from a different belief, and it's funny because you would think if people believe in God, well, then you would think they believe in Christianity, you know? And that's another plan of conversion. That's another plan of conversion is when they tell you that somebody else's God is God from the Bible. That's their way of conversing you. All right. The oldest book, all right, the oldest book on the face of the planet is this book right here. This is one of the oldest books. All right. And no matter how much you argue with it, you can go to any religion and still find a book you know, about all these other religions. But they are not nearly as old as this one. In fact, when you look at it, the very first story was written about how people in life were created. Hold on a second. Yeah, it's literally a story about how everything in the world was created by God Himself. So how are you going to tell me that your religion is has the same God in it, but it doesn't have the same exact stories? How are you going to tell me that? And then expect me to come listen to you about your God? And when I mean your God is some other deity that you placed a name that was God, but you changed the name up for your religion? That's not cool. The whole the whole reason for the Bible is to respect God Himself. So why are we disrespecting God by changing the name to something else? That's something that doesn't blow my mind. That's something that really blows my mind about these other religions. All right? Every single culture, every single culture when it comes down to it has a religion very very similar to Christianity. All right? But they take it and they alter it so it's something else. The longest running book in history today would be the Holy Bible. And everybody's like a Muslim guy tried to convert me yesterday, and I kept telling him no. And you know what happened? He started an argument with me. You know what? He's like, well, can you tell me about this? I'm like, no, dude. You have to go read the Bible for you to learn about it. I'm not gonna sit there and teach you it. All right, because that's not my rule. God plus, I don't think God would want that from me. You know, God wants me to teach the Bible to people and break the Bible down. But at the same time, God doesn't want me to teach it without having the Bible in my hand and teaching you anything about it, first of all. And second, God doesn't want me God wouldn't want me try like people have been trying to converse me the past few days. It's weird. It's very weird. All right. So I've had an incident. I had incidences in the past where I just didn't understand what people were doing. Okay. I used to hang around a whole bunch of people who were involved in like paganism, astrology, and stuff like that. And they were like, they had tarot cards. They did all that kind of stuff. And it didn't make sense to me how they're relying on some piece of paper, a card or something, to predict their future. All right? It doesn't make sense to me. And the reason it doesn't make sense to me is because the simple fact that you're laying a card down with a picture on that's supposed to state my future. And after hearing that, and then later on down the line, I didn't see that future happen that apparently those cards were predicting for me. That's why we don't rely on that kind of stuff. We rely on our God we rely on our God to help us understand and get direction of our future. We don't rely on a tarot card. We don't rely on some stones. We don't, you know, I'm surprised nerdy people haven't created a religion yet that's like, let me roll these dice to tell the future. I'm surprised of that. That'd be wild if they did. Like a god, like they create a religion based on a god from D&D or something like that. Something ridiculous, because that happens. People do that kind of stuff. But, people are too busy trying to overrule the Holy Bible for some reason. People are so busy trying to overpower that thing that it's just incredibly crazy that there are people out there that are trying so badly to convert people to the religion. And the thing that you'll pick up right now is with the Muslim religion, there's a war going on between Israel and the Muslim people that when you sit there and you look at it, what are they doing? They're trying to converse people into their Muslim religion. And for some reason, even Israel, that would be those would be considered the Jewish people. All right? So that's your guys' war. That's not my war. I'm not taking the side of anybody there. And I keep having to explain that. When people come into this chat and they talk about that in here, I'm literally like, look, this is not the place. I'm not taking a side for that war. Get rid of that from here because I'm not talking about that here. And, when I have people coming in here like this whole chat yesterday was disgusting. It was disgusting. It was vile. It was an abomination. It was everything you can think of because people in here were insulting, the me reading the Bible and all that because they're so busy partaking in their religions that are degenerate anyway. And I say that with all due respect, but a lot of those people saying the stuff, it's degeneracy. When you sit there and you look at my chat box, you can just see that like some of the stuff was just awful to say when you come in and you're like listening to the Bible. These people that are doing this, it's a form of degeneracy that people cannot stop doing for some reason, and I don't know why. And I can only sit there and like I was allowing it to happen, but man, these people were being like total degenerates yesterday. And that's what happens when you have a mix of religion and people not believing in the book of people not reading the Holy Bible and stuff like that. You get a mix of people, a mixed bag of people just sounding like they're crazy and saying some really off the wall stuff to try to be funny when reality the truth is, you know, for me when people like say like really degenerate stuff, it's kind of gross for some reason because why are you okay with talking about that kind of stuff? I'm not even remotely okay, and there's something very, very like disgusting about it. And again, it could just be from reading the Bible and having, you know, knowing the difference between dark and light when it comes to the Bible and religion and all that. Because I don't know, there's just something about me where people see me as like people tell me I'm afraid of stuff sometimes, and I'm really not. And I barely hear it because you know what? I have actually no, I barely hear it, but I've had people think I'm ridiculous for like sensing something coming off of somebody that's dark. I can go down the street right now and just look at somebody and just kind of tell that they have bad in them. I don't know. It's just something I got probably something I got blessed from God with. Just that sense of like knowing when people are good and bad, and when people are trying too hard. Like I can just sense that stuff for some reason, and like I normally end up calling people out. Like in here, I would have called people out, but because it's connected to the YouTube channel, I tried my best to stay within the boundaries and limits and try to tell people, hey, you know what? Don't bring that here, you know? But people are so busy trying to be this ha ha funny degenerate person that it's not really all that funny all at all. Like, what are you doing with your life to be like that? And we've resorted to this like form of being super outlandishly weird as a way of entertaining people. What happened to the day of entertaining people and making simple jokes? In the early 2000s, okay? The early 2000s, I want to say like 2010, okay? I remember watching the movie Road Trip. Was it Road Trip? I think it was with like Zach Galifianakis and Robert Downing Jr. And Zach Galifianakis, okay, his sense of humor was over the top degeneracy. All right, that means like he would make a joke about something like he would sit in a car next to Robert Downing Jr. and he would be like, "Yeah, I can't do this before I go to sleep at night." And the joke was he would masturbate. All right, that is like foul and disgusting. And we are there now where that type of joking is funny to people, okay? I remember back in the 90s, I could simply watch a show. I could simply watch a show and the show would have like a simple sense of humor. Like stuff like, not over the top like The Office. I love The Office because its sense of humor wasn't vulgar and over the top. But now we're doing vulgar and over the top stuff to be funny. And it's just kind of like, it's kind of set us where we are. And that's why people are okay. People are like out there doing all this degeneracy stuff. Like, people are out there literally like doing stuff that's outlandish and weird. And then turning around and being like, hey, why are you making fun of me for that? Dude, back in the 90s, And back in the early 2000s, when you did stuff like that, you were the laughing stock of the school, buddy. You were you were the laughing stock of the school because you did something that made you look a certain way. And when you did something that made you look a certain way, you were the complete laughing stock of the school, hands down, and you were shamed for that. And now we're doing we're doing that kind of stuff and people are accepting of it. What happened to the days of being shamed for that stuff? You know? What happened to those days? And now we're like making that into a full sense of humor. And not only that, when you look at all of social media, okay? You see things on social media that you're like, I can't even believe this person did this. You know? And it's just very intriguing how human nature and to have a sense of humor, you must allow yourself to be uh, humiliated. So we've allowed humiliation to be the center of a joke. And I don't know what to say because some of these people that are allowing their humiliation seem to be the ones that are promoting degeneracy. And the I know some of it's funny, but to people, but it's not very funny to me. Like I look at some of this joking that we do right now, and I don't even see it as funny. Sometimes I see it as like completely like, what is wrong with you people? You know? When did degeneracy humor become a sense of humor? Like, when did it become normal to talk about, a story about, man, when did it I don't know. I don't know. You should cringe when you should cringe to humor like that. It shouldn't be accepted. It shouldn't be okay and accepted. And that's where like, people are okay with it, but like I look at it this way. To be okay with that, you have to be okay with like a form of, humiliation yourself. And I've put up with humiliation through other people, and it's because the people doing the humiliation, they're all the people that are okay with humiliating other people as opposed to like, just they they get mad. They get mad. I know people that get mad at me for like, stating something about them sometimes. But the thing is like when you do over the top like degeneracy humor, then there's something there that you must reconsider. You know, um, I don't know. We live in a strange time where like humiliation is had become a sense of humor, and like degeneracy became a sense of humor, and now everybody's like okay with it. Like back in the day when you were a degenerate, back in the day when you did something disgusting, um, you were shamed for that stuff, okay? You were definitely shamed and you were picked on for it, And that's why like I remember that episode of I don't know what if it was Spawnwave or it was something, but RGT's just like talking about this little girl who picked her nose and ate the boogers, okay? Now, back in the day, that was really really frowned on and people you got picked on for that. But now nobody's really getting picked on for that stuff, and it's just more than acceptable. And the thing that really stood out to me in the story was that like the girl, the teacher told everybody not to pick on the girl, and it was just a mess. And it's stuff that makes me like cringe and not want to deal with that kind of stuff. So I don't understand where we all just became okay with like being in this time frame where like just straight up degeneracy and other ways are supposed to be like funny and acceptable to society. You know, I don't know how to like I just hope that one day we can get that to change. But, until then I'm just gonna keep fighting the war that God put me in and try to like try to get the word out of God out there, and hopefully things start to change. You know, that's why everything is just the way it is right now. It's you know, it's people just choosing to be that way, and society's letting them be that way. You know, again, back in the day we were ashamed for all that stuff, and now it's just okay. You know, and going back to my story about the people I used to know, boy oh boy, I've been around some of those paganisms and all that, paganists, and some of the most weirdest people, and I don't know why that became okay also. Um, Paganism was not never supposed to be okay, and the people doing it, um, I don't have to say much, but you can go and look at the crowd of people doing it, and where you can just see where things are going wrong. All right, you can just see it. And so, like people still do it to me, where they'll remind me of something I did like a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago, and I choose to just ignore it because I'm at a different point in my life right now where like even if you hold on to that, it's still not going to prove anything. And yeah, back before I started even remotely reading this, um, I was doing, I people don't want to get over and forgive the thing you did like a month ago, okay? You know, I don't know. People will hold on to stuff and not forget it and leave you live with it for like a year or so, and then it's weird because you would think that people on the internet forget stuff real easily because that's what we're supposed to do, is like we're supposed to forgive and forget. But there's a form of the internet where people don't forgive and forget, and so like months later I'm sure that somebody's going to be like, well, you did this a few months back, blah blah blah, and you're a bad person for that. Well, good for you, but I didn't, if that's, if that's gonna bother you that much, then why did you bother to look in it? And why are you even coming here? You know? So people make their own people make their own problems, and then they choose to like hold on to, things. I had somebody in here yesterday just assume I was a millionaire and stuff like that, and just saying some weird stuff. Like I don't know where these people get these ideas from. Like, you come in here assuming I'm a millionaire, and yet, like, I'm literally sitting in the front of a bookshelf with a bunch of games and, like, uh, a shirt that's a couple years old and stuff like that, and my hair's long. You don't think I would look different? People have, like, some really bad perceptions. But, alright. So we are on to Exodius now, so we will start that in the next video, so look for an upload from that in the future. And also, you know, keep an eye out for more Bible shorts, because I'm about to post one up after we get out of here. I got like 15 minutes or so. This was a good, stream. I didn't have anybody coming in and, like, arguing with me today. Like, I've had people, come in here and, like, I've had people come in here and just argue with me about the most weirdest stuff. Like, I remember my second day of doing this, I had a guy come in here who I used to know, and he would sit there and correct me on what I'm doing when I'm reading the Bible, and then I had a discussion with him later because, he's one of those people that like he won't let he'll hold on to stuff from like years ago and say he left it go, and then he'll take pride in like something he has, like he took pride into his motorcycle so much that I'm like, you're sitting there like literally telling me that like that the you're trying to make it seem like you're like somehow more important to me, which I don't get. So yeah, so we got 40 chapters in Exodius. As for the shorts from the from Genesis, I have no clue how long that's gonna take. That's gonna take a little bit yet, but we got 40 chapters ahead of us in Exodus. And then Leviticus is, I don't know how long Leviticus is. So yeah, Leviticus is 27. So it's gonna take us a little while to get there, yeah, but we'll get there. I'm gonna continue to do this the way I'm doing it. You'll see one upload per day for the chapters, and you'll see a stream on my day off of me reading like 2 or 3, depending on how I feel. But I'm just gonna keep going and going. Um, I have no clue how long this is gonna take, so you just gotta hang in there and keep watching. And I don't even know. I haven't even thought about it because I'm not even that far, and I don't want to think that far ahead. But I was sitting there thinking the other day, I'm like, what am I gonna do when I finish this? Like, what would I do for content then after I finish this? And I don't want to go back again, but I'm gonna do it on my own time. I'm gonna go back, but like I don't know what I'm gonna do with for content afterwards. That I'm done after I'm done with this. Haven't really thought that far. I might actually go and try to find the other books connected to the Bible and read those to you guys, just so we can like hear the other books outside of the Bible. Because there's books connected into some of the characters in the Bible that I heard exist, and I'm gonna see if I can find those and try to read those off to you guys, and still continue to do all that. So, in the future, whenever I find a book off of somebody related off of somebody in the Bible, I'm gonna try to pick that up and see if I can read that to you guys. So that could be the game plan in the future. So look forward to that. But that's a while from now. So I honestly, I don't know how long this is gonna take me to read. This could take me 2 years to read. Or a year, depending on the rate that I'm going. But I think 2 years is gonna be like where I'm landing at on this. A year and a half to 2 years. So we'll definitely see. We'll definitely see the end of the Bible though. With the way the numbers have been picking up on a channel and all that, I'm just gonna continue to do this, and this is gonna be the thing the channel is based on. Every now and then you'll see a video here, outside of the Bible that's related to still the Bible, so it teaches you stuff outside of the Bible. I'm trying to think. I had a video in mind the other day, but I just totally forgot it. So, you gotta bear with me, and I'll talk more about it. I think it was for me to like make the video about like explaining, you know, kind of how to pick up on when somebody's doing paganism or witchcraft or something like that, so that way you can avoid getting in contact with those people or even remotely talking to people, like. And so that's gonna sit there and armor you up. That's something I pick up on, is like you can look at people and tell who is part of the Christian religion by what they wear around their necks or their jewelry, and who isn't. You'll always have like some person going around with a crystal stone on their neck, and they'll sit there and they'll talk about God as well, but it's not the same. It's a form of paganism that I think people should consider like avoiding at all costs, especially if you're Christian, because it's kind of hard to tell who's doing what unless you really really know it. And being that I've been around like multiple different religions all at once, there's kind of like there's you can kind of see where everybody's coming from, and that's not the religion you're a part of. Like, you know, the only other thing I would consider wearing is a cross around my neck, but this is the face of Jesus Christ. So, um, but yeah, I'll make that into a video for you guys so you guys can pick up on stuff like that, and try to avoid coming in contact with people like that, because when you sit there and you look at it, you're gonna like you really start to see what I mean. Like you'll see it a lot after I make the video, because it's everywhere. People will wear crystal stones and things related to that things related to that, and still try to promote Christianity within their religion, because that's that coexistent uh, coexistence religion that exists, where you can be in your religion, but you can coexist among others. So it really makes everything bad. So something to think about. I'll put that up as a video. I might even talk about that itself and try to get people to understand why, you don't want to mix yourself in with these other groups of people and all that, because it'll throw you away from your religion, and they're very, very good at persuading you to get away from your religion. All right? They're very, very good. They're very good at it. Unfortunately, that's why I don't hang around those people anymore. So, but I'm gonna say a prayer right now, and we got a few more minutes. So, um, oh my. Lord Jesus Christ, I am praying to you today to bless everybody that is having a bad day, or you know, helping them get through their bad day. Lord, I pray you help people that are just in a bad spot today. Lord, I also, you know, give people the sight of understanding when, they're being manipulated. Okay, Lord, if there are people that are having trouble understanding it and get manipulated, Lord, I want you to give them that sight of 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 avoiding being manipulated into something. I want you to give them the knowledge that they need to understand it, Lord. And I want you to bless those people with the knowledge to avoid light and dark. I mean, to avoid darkness, to avoid paganism, to avoid any sort of thing that really will tear them away from you, Lord. I pray you you give them the knowledge to understand that, the people wearing other people outside the Christianity religion are there to manipulate them and pull them away from you. And Lord, I pray you make them into a fighter. Make them into a powerful fighter in your graces, Lord. And I pray that you prevent that from happening, and put that knowledge inside of them that prevents them from slipping away from you, Lord. And I pray you put a fight in them, Lord, that's so unintolerable through you that they back off of the people they're trying to persuade and trying to manipulate into their religion. Lord, I'm happy you made me so difficult to deal with other people and other religions, that I want you to make me like those other people. I want you to make the other people as intolerable as me when it comes down to the Christian religion, so they don't get manipulated into another religion, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. So yes, um, I can only hope that people out there do, that are Christian, actually are beginning to be difficult with those other religions trying to manipulate them, because that's what it took me yesterday. I had to be so difficult to the person to avoid even remotely wanting to talk about their religion. And then on top of it, I was difficult with another person who had a different religion, and you both just stopped talking to me because I'm so difficult to deal with through the graces of God. Like, when God hardens my heart, he hardens it in the right way. And that'd be like seeing people's darkness. My heart gets hardened, and I get angry, or like my heart gets hardened when the right time comes to God, and I will go off on people because of the fact that they're trying to pull me away from Jesus Christ and God. And you'll see me react that way. My heart my heart will get hardened to the point where I get mean. I get mean. And that's because when I sense somebody that has darkness or something like that, that's what happens. It's not that I'm a complete jerk. It's just that, like, I'm unacceptable of those things. And the Lord has hardened my heart that way. So anytime You bring some sort of religion to me, and if I sense it, believe me, my heart will go from soft to hardened instantly, and I will tell you how I feel through the graces of God. And God respects that about me, and that's why like I continue to do it. But yeah. So I hope you guys out there, if somebody's doing that to you, allow the Lord to harden your heart anytime they pull you away from the Christian religion. Allow the Lord to do that. In fact, I'll say a prayer. Lord, harden the hearts of people that are in your religion if people are trying to pull them out. Lord, make the people in the Christian religion difficult to deal with to the point where the people trying to persuade them to change their convert them don't convert them. Make the Christianity people that are praising you and all that, make their hearts hard, Lord, and make them difficult to deal with. In Jesus' name, amen. So yeah, maybe that's the reason I get so bent out of shape about stuff. People laugh at me, but you know what? If I'm getting bent out of shape over people trying to convert me, it's a good sign. It's a good sign, and I call it as it is now. I don't put up with it, and you shouldn't put up with it either. If you're sitting here listening to the Bible, or you're in the graces of Jesus Christ and God, I can only pray that God and Jesus Christ hardens your heart, and it makes you one of the most difficult people to deal with when it comes to people wanting to try to convert you. That's my way of saying, hey, don't mess with me, because I'm going to prevent you from even remotely trying to convert me. So, all right, that's it. I'm out of here. Y'all take it easy. Have a wonderful day, and God bless you. And I'll be seeing you next time for Exodius. Take it easy, and God bless.